a little LA football, the Chargers. By the way, Jorge broke it down better than all of us did right now. He broke it down. He had offense, defense, quarterback, everything. Good
He
job,
couldn't
Jorge.
wait for Chargers talk.
Look at that. He's been excited. He's excited. Yeah, look at that. You didn't miss much. Braden Hummus is not it. I would agree with that one. The only QB that showed up was Luis Perez. You know, it's funny, Jorge, speaking of that, Luis Perez and I know each other from Chula Vista. So, yeah, we were chatting after the game, and good kid, 100%. AJ, so, okay, I'm just going to go off of what I wrote.
Okay.
So, if you're Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman, there's no way you can think to yourself, this is our backup quarterback. And I'm sorry. And Easton's a nice guy. Like, he looked really frustrated after the game. You could tell. We only lasted 2 minutes with him speaking. Like, that was all. Like, you could just tell he wasn't happy. Rightfully so. But ever since he took over for Justin, it hasn't looked pretty in practice. It hasn't looked pretty in the scrimmages. It hasn't looked pretty in the preseason game. There has not been one positive thing that you could say of Easton being in the game. Now, I don't know if Greg Roman's trying to protect Easton because he told us that it's the same offense like if Justin was in there, which I can't believe that's true because that's not Easton's game. Easton's moving around the pocket, kind of like Caleb, moving around, trying to find a space and then taking off running. But it took you with 5:41 left in the game, in the first half, to get your first down of the game. That shouldn't be happening. And I wrote about it. I'm like, the problem is that everybody went off of those last 4 games last year. And I don't know how you can go based off of those 4 games. They scored 1 measly touchdown. Take away the Raiders game. The Raiders had already blown them out. And then that's when Easton scored his touchdowns. They had 1 touchdown in the last 3 games. I wrote about this. Cameron Dicker hit 12 field goals in those games. And the games look close. Yes. But the Bills couldn't have taken them seriously. They probably thought, oh, the Chargers will keel over and die. And no, they decided to come out. They played hard for Gift Smith. Credit to them. They took it to the Bills, but there was going to be no competition at the end of the day. They were going to win that game. Then you go over to the Broncos game. That was a terrible game. Easton couldn't really do anything in that game. And then you finally end with the Chiefs game. That was a 13-12 game. So, again, I mentioned in my article, the Cleveland Browns have 4 quarterbacks right now on their roster that the Chargers could easily go get one of those guys. Will they? Who knows? Ryan Tannehill's still out there. Hell, PJ Walker was out there for the Seahawks. He's a guy that they should consider going out and getting. But Easton Stick is just not the backup. And why do I say this? Because you're going to ask if Justin doesn't play, and I think he's going to be out there for the Raider game, but I'm just saying, if he has to miss time at any point, and he's not in there, can you ask Easton Stick to go? Are you guys confident of Easton Stick going in there and saying, oh yeah, I can win this game? No, that's the thing. Easton can't win a game. Like if the Chargers threw out, if it was Easton versus AOC, for the first time in my life, I'd probably choose AOC over another starting quarterback in the NFL. No offense, but because I think it's going to be AOC, bro. Like, even regardless of what happened, I think that's who they're dead set on. But, and here we go with the Kaepernick stuff. Kaepernick hasn't played in like 10 years.
I think Nick is trolling you.
His knees are shot.
Ryan Tannehill. How about Ryan
literally
Tannehill?
and figuratively. But Nick Foles, he just retired. I don't know if he has anything left. I think he used that magic up that one season with the Eagles. But they need to go find a backup. If they have to go eat some W's with Jameis Winston, do something like that. Jorge, stop. As Philip Rivers. God,
hey,
no, I know you're
just naming names of people who are better than Easton Stick.
Hell, then have Jim Harbaugh be player and quarterback or head coach and quarterback. At that point, the dude has cleats on, he has gloves on. But I'm just saying they need to go out and get a backup quarterback that could actually do something. And I feel like Easton's not in. Again, Easton's a good 3rd quarterback to have, that extra guy. But it's just, oh my God, the clipboard Jesus, Charlie Whitehurst. But the Chargers do need to go find themselves a backup quarterback, because even Harbaugh after the game said, yeah, our offense was not good. Like everywhere else, we had good areas. Defense played well. Special teams did well. I feel like Gill kind of gave them a little bit of a juice. but the offense just looked pedestrian. The defense looks Jesse Minter, and you wrote about him. Jesse Minter looks like he's going to scheme up some fun stuff. And remember, that was just a vanilla preseason game. Like, can you imagine what he's really going to do when the going gets going? So, but yeah, the offense is just looks pedestrian.
Yeah, it's a little wild that a month ago we're thinking, okay, what's the defense gonna do to keep up with Justin Herbert on the offense? And Herbert goes down, and then Minter's having these exciting schemes or plays out there for the defense. So it's definitely a flip there, Fernando. Just to kind of throw out another name, Trey Lance didn't look great against the Rams in the preseason game, but he's a third quarterback behind Cooper Rush. Maybe you flip a 6th round or a seventh round pick for Trey Lance to be the backup for Herbert. He'll be better than Easton Stick. I'm just thinking of more guys who are third on the depth chart who could maybe flip for a 7th round pick or something like that. But it's actually another North Dakota State guy, right? Maybe those guys aren't that good from North Dakota State.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Bisons there. But to me, that I always go back to, Fernando, he's in year 5, 6. Why does he keep coming back to the Chargers? He has probably the record of most inactive games, and he always finds a way on the roster. I don't think he's ever been waived before. Like, I just don't get what they see in Easton Stick. He went from one GM to another GM, from how many coaching staff, Lynn to Staley to Harbaugh. Like, for some reason, he keeps surviving. I don't know what he has on people, but I should probably tone it down because he's a nice guy. And by the way, one of the times I was at Chargers training camp in El Segundo, he went from the one side of the end where the fans were all the way to the other side of where the fans were and just signed autographs. He's a very nice guy. He just can't cut it as for the backup life. We've seen enough of Easton Stick here. And hopefully for Chargers fans, Justin Herbert is ready to go, but you're always one hit away from having the backup play. And like we saw last year, the second Easton Stick comes into the field, the season's over, especially if Herbert's out for a long period. So they need to come up with another way to find, I don't get why they didn't draft a quarterback when you have a new GM or a new head coach, or find some kind of better plan, because this is one of the worst plans that you could have for a star quarterback going into the season. I think I ranked the backup quarterbacks earlier this season, and I love when you do that. I had Easton Stick number 30, so it's not good.
So I heard that this is how Jim Harbaugh is going to choose his next quarterback.
To join our team. Oh, there's only one spot open right now, so we're gonna have tryouts.
I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do, but
somebody said Dan Fouts. He was calling the game over the weekend, so why not?
Yeah. Oh my God, you guys are really just like scraping the bottom of the barrel. I saw Drew Brees right now too. I don't know. What's Dan Humphries doing
Huntley's
now?
One too.
No, that's who I was talking. That's who I wrote about.
Is he with the? Where's he at now? Ravens
Browns.
still? Browns.
No, he's with the Browns. So the Browns have him, Jameis Winston, Deshaun Watson, and Dorian Thompson Robinson.
You could get one.
One of those guys has to be.
PJ Walker would definitely be better.
And that's what I thought. That's what I thought the Chargers were going to do, or that's what I thought the Browns did when they signed Tyler Huntley. I thought, they're going to try and get somebody to jump up and try and grab one of these guys and trade a draft pick for him. So
that's a good choice by you, because Tyler Huntley came from the Ravens system, and as you know, Chargers.
Yeah, no. I think he'd be solid as a solid backup for them. And who knows, the way Jim Harbaugh kind of does things, maybe he has a package for him. But I mean, why would you want to have Herbert off the field? But in the past,
but just in case he's something happens, just have a good plan. I don't get why teams never have a good backup plan. It worked out for the Bengals when they had Brownie.
That's one of the last things they think about, and it's like, no, you have to have a good backup.
I don't get it. I really don't.
I mean, the Rams have Jimmy Garoppolo, and I mean, you could say whatever you want about Jimmy, and I know Devontae Adams wanted to kill Jimmy Garoppolo and everything, but at least that's a plan.
He's a decent number 2, at least.
Yeah, that's a decent number. He's a real number 2. Yeah, that's what you need, a real number 2.
Suspended for 2 games, but he'll eventually.
Yeah. Like, and I remember Phillip loved Kellen Clemens, and the backup quarterback's always kind of been the best friend of the quarterback. And when Kellen Clemens got let go, when Anthony Lynn came in, I remember some person wasn't too happy about that, but because he brought in Geno Smith and he brought in other guys, so. Just definitely some interesting stuff there.